Hey gang, Tommy T coming at you live today. I'm going to show you something that is probably the worst thing you can ever do to an RV. Stand by. This is the most hideous thing you can do to a motorhome. Those little jacks are the size of a pencil, and you get a good puff of wind and this thing's a foot off the ground, it'll blow over and bend the jack. So here we have the classic right way to do this. Block the tires up and then run the leveling jacks down, and you don't want to leave the front end hanging in the air. Certainly not like this. Another thing that I wanted to discuss was, like, this one says power gear electronic leveling, and I know there's HWH systems, there's many different systems. Some of them are not levelers, they are stabilizers. I know I've seen that on many of the fifth wheels. I'm not a fifth wheel expert by any means, so don't tear me apart in the comments on that one. But something that I have learned, I use the manual setting. When I power it up, I go over to manual, I press that one down for 5 seconds and it puts it into manual mode. And I find that I can level the coach and have it lower in stature by using the manual. If I just let it go with the auto, it jacks it way up in the air, a little higher than I like. So one other tip that I have when leveling is I have a full airbag system underneath this coach that I'm in. It's a Monaco. I get my air down to about 65 pounds before I level it, and that way the leveler is not fighting the suspension, the airbag suspension. It works for me. Don't let this happen to you. So gang, essentially, we're going to see a lot of examples of this in the coming months. RV sales have taken off because people think they can get away and self-contain themselves away from the situation. So we're going to see a lot of inexperienced and newbie people running rigs around and doing nasty things like that. The jacking systems on these rigs, mine weighs 33,000 pounds. And my jacks are, I've got a 2.5 inch shaft in the front and 2 inch shafts in the rear, and it'll hold it up. In fact, I can push it up off the ground if I had to. But a lot of these less expensive, lighter weight coaches, the jack systems are the size of a pencil. They're 3/4 of an inch. Some of them 1/2 inch. That's on the little bitty guys, and maybe 1 inch on some of the bigger kind of coaches. But got to be so careful. You got to keep the suspension supported. If you have to block up under the tires, that's what you got to do. And very important to the framework on your coach. This has been Tommy T, RV Fun with Tommy T. See you again. And now it's time for 3 special tips from Tommy T. Stay tuned. So here's bonus tip number 1. My friend Carl had air brakes in his Beaver, and his German Shepherd would get in the driver's seat and put his paw down here and release the parking brake. So what Carl did is he came up with this little device. It's called Absolute Brake. Slides underneath. They make it for the Freightliner style as well. And I really recommend having this device on board if you're an air brake kind of person. And our next little bonus tip today is, you see this ignition? For the past years that I've run this coach, I have just the key in there to start it. This is the old General Motors style ignition. They've been putting it in cars and trucks since the 60s. Well, you see a lot of people with like 20 keys hanging on here and a string that goes down to the floor, and that weight will actually kill the mechanism inside the starting device. So if you've still got a key system, think about just going to a single key like that. That key's been in that coach since the day I brought it home. And our third little Tommy T tip for this trip is I don't travel without an emergency vest. Just in case you got to stop on the side of the road, you want all the other folks to be able to see you. So stick around, we'll see you again. Hit that like and subscribe button. This is Tommy T for RV Fun with Tommy T.